Are you ready?
Hi everybody, my name is CohhCarnage, and I am giving you a quick rundown of a space base that I've built in Starbound. Now, Starbound is a game very similar to Terraria, but much more expansive. And just as a note, I haven't really done a build like this in any other games. I'm not a big Minecrafter or Terraria person, so I've never really done a big build before now, so this is one of my first. What we've done is we've made a landing area that has a few cool features, and then we've kind of extrapolated that out to an asteroid base, which we connected via a glass bridge that you're going to see in just a second. And yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this is the base of the space base. This is primarily made, this is where it all started, with this glass pyramid. And this pyramid was built around this little bit of water, and that's going to be important later, and I will show you why. All of this crystal was harvested off a volcanic planet. All the glass was smelted from sand from a desert planet. And all of this stuff, thanks Chavez for subscribing, you are awesome, welcome to the community. All this stuff here is basically taken from different biomes. So some of this can be crafted, but some of this you also do need to go out and take. So first thing I'll kind of show you, this is the landing strip for the teleporter. If you notice, the glass behind it has actually been taken out. There's no teleportation inside the base unless you are directly under this, in which case it goes up exactly how high the graphic is back to your ship. So that was kind of fun and cool to make. On the left side here, this is kind of the command center for the bottom area. All of this stuff is mostly from Apex bases, with a little bit from the SCM, which is kind of like the human place in the area. Everything down here is kind of connected, and a lot of these consoles are connected to the doors, so they actually turn on and off the doors using the wiring tool. But beyond that, on the right side here, we have the concept behind this is it's kind of like a rail cannon to launch you into space. I wish there was something in the game that could give the player momentum, because what I would basically do is align this with it to kind of shoot them into orbit. But unfortunately, there's nothing really like that. So this is what we have here. This kind of area here is kind of a comms and kind of a launch thing to kind of monitor this whole area. But of course, you know, kind of limited what we can do in that regard. So, moving on. The way you get to this base, you do have to have a burst tech currently. Now, I did go ahead and make a sky bridge, so at a later point, if we want, we can literally go through and put platforms that connect the base to the top. But for now, most people have a bubble tech, or a burst tech of some kind, like butterfly boost or bubbles or something like that. So generally, that's okay. So to get to the space base, you have to point your drill up so it'll pierce the heavens.
Alright.
And then basically all you do at that point is boost up. So it is important, you do have to stay centered, and that will make it so you don't actually get hit by any of the things moving up. So this glass was a big project in itself, because as you're going to notice, we're going to go a long way. So what we had to do is we had to go to a desert planet and basically mine it dry. We're talking 7,000 plus sand, I think. We had 3 smelters going, and basically just turning it into glass so we could connect it. After that, we took a paint tool, which you can make, and we made the back blue because it was a little bit hard to see normally. And that's kind of how that goes from there. So we're going to keep going up here. Now, in this game, it's pretty awesome, because what it does is...
Alright.
Thank you very much for the donation, guys. That's my donation sounds. What this basically does is it makes it so you can... I totally lost my train of thought, but that's okay. What this does is it connects the top to bottom so we can know exactly where to go, and the paint tool makes it so you can actually see it, because normally the glass is clear and you can't see it. Banana. That's our banana stop, by the way. If you're hungry, you stop there, you eat a banana, you keep going. It's great. So this is the bottom. This is kind of the entry level to the base. Now, this right here is where it all starts. And before, you had to actually go all the way up into space to get there. Now, what I didn't like about that is it exposed you to the elements. Because one of the big things you will learn quickly in doing this is the second you get to this point, you start dying quickly. Now, if you watch my health over here, see this right here? This happens anywhere you're in space. And when it goes down to 0, you start dying. And this is why most people do not build or even deal with space, because of that. But what you can do is you can set up space heaters, campfires, nano stoves, and you can make it so all of this stuff keeps you warm. So what I did was I made this kind of kind of a connector, almost like a docking bay, and I put these. You're going to see these a lot. And what these are, these radiators make a radius of heat that allow you to survive in space. So this right here is kind of the start of the space base. This is kind of like our docking area here. So we're going to go up this way. This is the base on the left here. It all kind of starts right here. This is kind of the docking arm here. Now, the reason that this was built out was because this section was corresponding to where the water was on the ground. And I'm going to show you why later. If you're on a planet where you want to do anything in the future, like this particular planet has 5 apex bases and we harvested them all for materials, it's a really good idea to make sure that you have a drop point into 9 blocks of water. And again, I'll get to that a little bit later. So without further ado, here is the base. I'm going to kind of go into it in a counterclockwise to kind of tell you, the thinking behind a lot of this. So this all started as a rock asteroid.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys. And what these rock asteroids are is they're literally just giant floating rocks in space. They stay still. So when we got here, we basically mined the entire asteroid. We took the entire background off. And then what I did was I went around to volcanic planets that had steel trees. We clear-cut the planet, and we turned them into the steel background that you see. Now, there's easily probably 5,000+ steel blocks, which was a lot of time. And that is something that took that was one of the components of this build that took a lot of time. So it was a lot of fun though. Everything else in this has been completely and 100% taken from other places of the world. We got to a point where we were going to the apex bases for the stuff on the outside. All of this stuff is taken from the USCM, the USCM bases. All this stuff is from Apex, and it all just kind of keeps moving through. So on this side here, we've got kind of our comms, kind of our bridge area. We've got some storage stuff up here. All of this is taken from the different avian tombs. So we kind of made a museum down here, kind of put a kind of a tapestry of different stuff here, and kind of moved through that direction. Also, this is a point to notice. You can see all these space heaters here are specifically placed so anywhere you go on the base, you are still warm, because that's very important. Even if you get to a point inside of a building, you will start losing it. You can see right up here, check this out. Look, I'm actually losing temperature because the very top of my base is out of range of a space heater. So it is important. You have to have these things everywhere. Over here on the left, you can see we got a little outhouse. This is from a sewer biome. So are the pipes down here. Got a lot of fans because that place gets stinky, and a little siren when you know it's in use. Moving down a little bit more, we'll kind of move counterclockwise here. This is our tribute to Dead Space. There's the Dead Space artifact, and they're researching it because they don't know what it is. Over here on the middle, we have more kind of a bridge area. Down here, this was kind of an interesting experiment I did that I later kind of changed around. Each one of these different holes used to be connected all the way down, and these are various different vendors. Now, if you can see, the vendors can't actually jump out. But what I noticed is when I kept coming back to here, they would end up in different areas. Like, they can't actually escape these, but for some reason, if you leave this area, then what happens is they just shift around. It was weird. So what I did was I went ahead and took out the lower thing of books. So it's still really easy. All the vendors actually stay far apart. So you can actually still talk to them all, and it's not too big of a deal, which I'm very glad about, because that's not how it was at the beginning. But we've got like a chef down here. We've got like a doctor. We at one point had a mage, but unfortunately he disappeared. Not sure what happened there. So and this side. Then over here we have just some comms area. Got a whole bunch of pipes here, kind of like irrigation for the farm. That'd be fun if they added something like that. So this is the farm. Now, I hadn't done any farming before this. These are all various seeds we found around the world. These all grown. This is basically where I get my food for the game now, which is pretty cool. You can see I'm kind of hungry down here. And it's very easy to do. All you need is a stone hoe and dirt. You put the dirt down. You use the hoe on the dirt to make this little brown top, and then you can plant seeds on it. It's actually a really good system. And I was pretty impressed with how well and kind of cogently it all connected. So that so far is what we've covered. We've got the farm, kind of the environmental area, the bridge up top. We've got this was kind of a fun idea here. This middle area that you see, the concept here is that someone has to keep growing the bodies that your character keeps coming back into. So the concept here is that the space base is actually where the next U's are being made, and every time you die, it takes stuff from this area. So it's just kind of a little nod there to the fact that you just keep coming back in one of these green tubes. So there's got to be more U's getting ready since I die all the time. So this used to be the whole space base here, but I ran out of room and I really wanted to have kind of a zoo to go over the new creature capture mechanics. So what I did was we extended this base to the southwest a little bit. We found a second asteroid, and we actually cleared out this asteroid similar to the first one, and we made a zoo, which is what this is here. All of these animals are from different areas around the world. We went to volcanic planets, we went to forest planets, we went to terrain planets, and they all kind of represent a variety of the different things you can find. All of these doors are wired, so they can't actually get out. Now, I did later learn from a viewer that it does turn out that it looks like animals can't open doors, but I know people can, which is why I hooked these all up. And that's pretty much the main reason there. Down here you got some more comm stuff, and of course you got to have your anti-mob detection, which unfortunately doesn't work. If a mob does run into that outside area, nothing really happens. They just kind of bounce off it. I was unfortunately I was going for like a big kind of bug zapper vibe. So any animals that or birds, space birds or whatever they have in here, they kind of hit the base, they'd actually get fried. But as you can see right up there, like that guy just did, unfortunately they just kind of bounce off it. So moving back, that's pretty much the whole base. I'll do just kind of once over with it again. It was a lot of fun to build. This is actually the first time I had ever done a major quote-unquote build in a game like this. And what I'm going to be doing is, for anyone that's interested, I'm going to figure out how to export this world file. And that way you can kind of come here and play with it yourself. And experiment with it, break it down, tear it apart, do whatever you want. So that should be kind of fun. So now I'm going to show you the very last thing. And I just get such a kick out of this. I absolutely love that it does this. There is a terminal velocity in this game. And if you have exactly 9 blocks of water, then what it will do is it will make it so what you're about to see will happen. It's a very cool feature that I do really like, Banana, and I think it's very fun because it's one of the reasons that made it so it was so easy to go back and forth between the space station and the surface. So basically this happens, boom. That's all it does. So no matter how far you go or how far up, no matter how fast you fall, as long as you have enough water, then you can just go from there. So that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. I do kind of now have a lot more zeal to do these kind of builds in the future. There's a game called Trove that we have alpha access to that we're going to be playing a lot on the channel. I actually may do something kind of like this in Trove, thinking of making kind of a giant, off the ground, like World Tree-esque fortress. I think that could be kind of fun. But yeah, so that's about it, guys. Thank you very much. You can find me over at twitch.tv/CohhCarnage, and very much appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next game. Bye-bye.